Hello, hello. My name is Kai, and I am a bit of a rambler. I like to travel, learn, and tell stories. Today, I want to talk about car camping because it's such a good and available way to chuck off those shackles of the system for Americans. And I know people in other countries who do car camping, but America's car country, and it's so easy and so cheap to get a house on wheels that will immediately take you out of having to worry about money and so many obligations and expenses. If you don't want to live in a car, you don't have to. What I'm saying is if you're at the end of your rope and you're like, I can't pay my rent next month, and your rent is like, $1,000 if you're lucky in the States now, buy a car instead and live frugally, and this can be a very nice stopgap where you can get back on your feet. Or if you have a remote job and are just sick of where you're at, go buy a nice SUV and live in it for a while and see if that's for you, because it's such an easy way to live and it's such a cheap way to live that instantly you can put a flat screen in back of there with an extra battery and inverter if you want to. Like, cars are so easily customizable, and they are everywhere in the States. If for whatever reason you're living in one of the 17 towns in the United States that sells expensive cars, yes, even today, go to another town or another state, buy the car there, you have a car. If it's expensive in your city, go to another city. If it's still expensive, go to a suburb. They're always cheaper in the suburbs than in the city. If they're expensive in the suburb, go to a smaller town. You'll find one in the States. We have an absurd amount of cars. So you can definitely find one for a couple $1,000. SUVs even are not expensive. I don't think the most expensive I paid was $2,100 for a used SUV. And as long as you know basic maintenance, it'll run. So you spend what is basically 1 month of rent on a vehicle, change the oil, the thing's going to run for a couple months. Like, if you test drove it and it ran and you just changed the oil, it's going to run for a couple months. And you just saved $4,000 right there in rent money and electric bills and utility bills in general. So, as you can tell, I am a fan and advocate of car camping because I think it's a very freeing and very comfortable way to live. Now, personally, if I'm going to live mobily, I'm going to get an RV because I like a full-sized fridge. I like a full stove. There's more place to put the solar panels on top and all that. But with all those benefits does come the disadvantage that you are a giant vehicle, and it wasn't really a huge issue for me. I didn't mind being moved every now and then at night by the cops. But if you never want to deal with that, then you car camp, because never I have parked everywhere in a car in every single place in the country, and nobody ever has asked me to move. And you just put the curtains up and you're just a car. And again, this is just for anyone who's interested about car camping. I'm just going to tell you about what I liked about car camping. My experience was that it was very fun, very easy to do, very liberating because you can move around whenever you want to, and you have shelter wherever you want, and so cheap. I was paying $1,600 a month in rent, and I was just like, why am I doing this? There's no reason for me to be living in this house. My whole thing is to travel around the country anyway. Why am I paying the cost of a car every month in rent? I was in Arizona at the time, and cars were $1,600 and under. And I was like, why am I paying that per month when I could just buy a nice, large SUV or covered truck or something and travel wherever I wanted to without paying utilities and rent every month? So I looked for a bunch. I visited a few cars. I drove one, and I was like, perfect. And I think that was actually $1,600, like the exact same amount as my rent. And it had a tow hitch on the back, so I could bring my e-bike, and that was on the back. And then I had the car, and I decided to move out, but I was like, well, okay, now I have to build this into a house. How do you build an SUV into a house? And I was like, well, number one, You're a lazy goofball who likes to sit on the bed all day. I was like, right, a bed. I'm also going to have to sleep. So easy to get a bed. Now, if you have any money at all left over after the $1,600, let's say $2,500 you spent on a used SUV and the oil change, spend $40 at Home Depot. You can add a bed frame and get some more storage space in the car in one move. Get one 4x4, have them cut the 4x4 into 6 bed legs, get one sheet of plywood, boom, that is a bed. You just screw the 4x4 bed legs, get 6 instead of 4 so that the middle of the bed, has support also. But if you do that, the plywood, it's going to last 20 years now. Like, it's such an easy way to make a bed that will last forever, or as long as you have that vehicle. It'll probably outlast your vehicle. And that is very queen-sized bed, because queen beds aren't that big, and any piece of plywood is way bigger than them. A queen-size bed is 60 by 80 inches, or 150 by 200 centimeters. So just whatever the back of your SUV is, 2 pieces of wood, ask Home Depot to cut them for you, boom, you have a bed as large as the back area of your car. Which is to say, probably time to get rid of those back seats. You don't need them. You unscrew them, throw them out, and now you have twice as much space in the back. So with those gone, build the front legs of your bed longer, and then you have place to put all of your belongings under that whole area that used to be the back seats. Now it can have your kitchen items or your closet or anything, really. Now, the bed isn't expensive to build if you buy it all from Home Depot, but if you don't have that money, there's also the cut pile, which when they cut wood for free at Home Depot, if there's a little bit left over that the customer doesn't need, they toss it in a pile. Or if there's a crappy piece of wood, they toss it in a pile. So you could get those cut pile pieces and use those as the legs for your bed, and they're less than half. They're like 30% of the regular cost of the wood. So, instead of $40 if forever, maybe you just don't have the money, $20 or $15, and you can still get all the wood you need for your bed. Or, again, if you don't have that, I would still buy the plywood. I would try to get $10 for the piece of plywood. But if you can't afford that, get free stuff off Craigslist. People are always giving away plywood, and they're always giving away old pieces of furniture, and you can take old chairs, use those chair legs as your bed legs. You can use a bookcase or two as the bed board itself. Yeah, you can make a bed for free in the back. It's not worth the convenience of just paying $20 or $40 or whatever and having a bed that's going to last for years. But yeah, once you have the bed in the back, I like to get a memory foam mattress. But again, you can get free futons, cushions from Craigslist and have a comfortable bed that way. I got the memory foam mattress because it was on sale for $60, and it was very comfortable for the year that I was living in a car. I liked to carry around a shower tent because if I was on a road trip or if I really had to pee in the middle of the night, I can throw the shower tent on the ground. It opens by itself. Pee, because the shower tent has an open bottom, close the shower tent and throw it back in the back of the car. It really is like a 5-second process to open it up and pack it back down again. So anyway, I guess since I talked about number 1, on to number 2. If you have to go to the bathroom and it's something more substantial, go to a library, go to a supermarket. You can do the gym thing. People join the gym and use the showers and bathrooms and exercise equipment across the nation. I always just went to a supermarket or a gas station convenience store or the library. There are facilities everywhere in the States, so you don't have to think about going to the bathroom in your car. That's just not worth the trouble. There are people who do it. It's not worth the trouble at all. Just if you're anywhere near a gas station, there's a bathroom there. You can use it. That's one of the few facilities that the U.S. provides. So that's the bathroom taken care of. Like, that's the main thing a lot of people worry about, and it really is as simple as a gas station, a convenience store, a library, or a supermarket. You will have a toilet near you. Now, the other one is a shower, and a lot of people go the gym membership for showers route, which I have never done. That just seems like a lot of trouble for me, but it seems like a great idea also. I just haven't done it, I guess, because what I did, I bought I think it was $16, like pet shower off of Amazon, and I had a shower tent and a plastic basin. So some days I would just do a sponge bath, and I would just have a little bit of water and wipes, and then I'd throw them away. But when I wanted to take an actual shower, which was sometimes every day, I had a plug-in USB water heater. So I'd fill that up, heat up my water, and then have that same amount of water in the basin already. And when it was night and it was dark, I'd put down my basin, put the shower tent over the basin, pour in the cold water, then pour in the hot water, and then this filtered hose, shower head basically, there's a little hook inside my shower tent so I could hang the shower head right up there. The filter hangs into the water, and it only needs like an inch or inch and a half of water to cycle, and boom, shower. So I'm not saying everybody has to do this, but for me, that was so easy because it only took me easy 15 minutes. Couple minutes to set up, 10 minutes to take a shower, couple minutes to take it down. And I felt completely clean. Again, like it feels like a real shower because it's going up through this little filter / pump. It's USB rechargeable. And then it goes up to a shower that's at my head level, showering me with hot water that lasts for 10 minutes or so. And it's inside a shower tent, so there's steam, like the temperature stays inside the shower tent for the 10 minutes or whatever you're showering. So I was stealth showering. It was very comfortable for me. I get it if you don't want to do that. If you just want to do a sponge bath or you want to do the gym membership way, that's just what I did. And I thought it was fun also every time. Then electricity. So I had the USB hot water kettle so that I could have my hot showers, but that takes electricity away from the battery, and it didn't kill the car battery by any measure. Actually, I always only had one car battery. I never added a second one, even though I thought I would need one. But I just bought a regular inverter from Walmart for $20 or whatever, plugged that into the cigarette lighter, and I could charge my phone with that. I could charge my laptop, which I did while I was driving to make sure the alternator was supplying electricity. And I could boil water for a shower any day that I wanted a full shower. I didn't have a solar panel on my car, but there are 100 YouTube videos where you can see it's very simple to add one on. I added several onto the top of my RV later, but I definitely wish I had just added one solar panel onto the top of the SUV that I had just so I wouldn't have to think about electricity, which I was worrying about every now and then because I was charging my phone and charging my laptop and taking hot showers. And I always thought, is this going to kill my battery? And it just never did. So yeah, if you want to, grab a solar panel. It's 2 wires. You can attach that to your car battery and it'll keep it charged. You can follow step-by-step instructions on YouTube or just plug the 2 wires in. It's pretty straightforward with a couple of bolts to keep the solar panel to the roof rack. And public utilities, if you're American, you're still paying taxes. It doesn't matter where you live or how much income you have. And you're still paying taxes. So use those utilities. Use the public restrooms. Use the free water. Use the libraries. You're paying for all of those social services and you should still use them. What about food? Oh, food. Buffets. Oh my gosh, buffets. You can spend $10 a day and all you can eat. I think I had already started doing 1 meal a day by the time I started car camping. So buffets are perfect for me because I just, wake up, play on my phone for 5 hours, but a long time sometimes. Drive wherever I want to go to a park. I guess if you have a remote job, you can go to the library and get that done. You only need, once you have your car, you only need a few $100 for whatever the car insurance, gas is. Those are all of your expenses. And then you have food. But food is easily $10 a day. I had a burner and I did cook a couple times, but then I started going to buffets and I was like, wait, why am I spending time when I could go to a different buffet every day and I don't have to cook and they'll just give me new free food every day. And no matter where you are in the States, I mean, within reason, there are multiple buffets within driving distance that all have different foods and have good foods and even have vegetables so you can eat nutritiously every day for a very reasonable amount of money, for far less than anything you would get in a restaurant or even if you went shopping yourself. Now, living this lifestyle costs a couple $100 a month. You need to fill up your gas a few times, unless you're going to concerts all the time, in which case I had to fill it up like 10 times that month because I was driving very far away. But yeah, you fill up your gas a couple times a month. You have to pay your insurance, and then you have to pay for food. So if you have the solar panel, free electricity. If you don't have the solar panel, you didn't have to pay for a solar panel in the first place. It's a very low cost of living, and you have I recommend memory foam mattress in the back with a comforter is what I had, and it was great. I loved that life. I drove to the all-you-can-eat sushi. I ate, had a carafe of sake, fell asleep in the back. Oh, curtains, right. That's what should be next. Privacy curtains. I bought a couple of bed sheets, just regular black bed sheets, attached one binder clip to each corner where the upholstery on the ceiling met the seatbelt holder, like there's a little gap. And I put the 4 clips on these black bed sheets that I cut up into rectangles, and then I had privacy curtains. Clip, 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 privacy curtain. You can sleep in the back for as long as you want. No one can see inside. You can still see outside because they're regular bed sheets and all the lights coming from outside. So you can still see the outside, like if there's anyone walking around or if there's, whatever, a cop checking out your door or whatever. All they'll see inside is black because it's just reflecting the shadow of the inside. So during the day, I would, like I said, go to that all-you-can-eat buffet, fall asleep in the back, wake up and be okay, and then go on with my day. Or anytime it's, time to go to bed, you put up the privacy curtain, go to bed, you just look like an empty car. Nobody can see through the privacy curtains because still the street light, any source from outside is going to be brighter than what's inside. For a while I had cardboard cutouts, but I just didn't want to take the extra 30 seconds to put up the cutouts to block out all light because nobody ever noticed. And my cell phone wasn't that bright, even if I was playing on my cell phone at night. So yeah, make the privacy curtains in like half an hour. They'll also last longer than your car. And you just clip them to the 4 corners, so no one can even see through the windshield. You have one blanket behind the 2 front seats, half a bed sheet on each side blocking the side windows, and then one on the back blocking the rear window. Such an easy way to get instant privacy, and including if you have a date. You put up that privacy curtain and I don't know, people were into it. It worked. Like, quick example. You drive somewhere private and you kiss, and then you're like, oh, what do we do next? You put up the privacy curtain, the other person is sold. Or it worked in my SUV. I highly recommend it. Whenever you need to wash sheets, natural segue, there are laundromats everywhere, and it costs a few dollars. I mean, maybe in the States it costs like $7. But you can have all clean clothes in an hour or two, like from a regular machine, because there are laundromats everywhere. Now, there are a lot of reasons that you would want to start car camping. I think I was luckier because this was after I had been in China, so I already had a lot of money saved up, and I already had a little bit of money coming in from my investments, and that was enough. I bought the car, and then the money I had coming in already was more than my expenses. So if you just want to travel, car camping's so good to do that. Cars don't break down as often as RVs. They're not as expensive to fix. You can usually fix most of the stuff yourself. So that is nice compared to the RV, which you can also fix yourself, but it just feels more intimidating, even though when I actually fix them, they feel the same to me fixing them now that I know how to do it. But I can see how just a bigger vehicle feels like it would be more difficult to fix yourself. And cars are more common and everyday, and people just know how to fix them. So you could even have your buddy help you fix it. If you want to travel, car camping is, oh my gosh. Like, after I had the car inside and I was going around with my girlfriend and we were car camping every night for months, when we went to sightsee at like waterfalls and cave formations and national parks and all of that, we started seeing other car campers, and I never would have noticed them if I didn't have them. I'd be like, oh, they have a table in the back, but then what's that weird shelf? But then I started being like, oh, that's a bed. They have a bed in the back just like we have a bed in the back. And people are doing it all around because, especially if you're going on road trips, it's so much nicer to just have the spot where you put your dirty clothes and you know where everything is, and you don't have to unpack and go into a hotel, pay an dumb amount of money in the States for a hotel, get back in your car, and then drive to the next place. You can drive between two national parks that you want to go to, park in a quiet place, throw up the privacy curtain, go right to bed, have a full rest, take down the privacy curtain, keep driving. You don't have to make detours for hotels or anything like that. Yeah, it's just absolutely great. It's the option for traveling, I would say, unless you're planning on doing it for permanently traveling, then get the RV, because then you'll have the full kitchen or whatever. But again, some people prefer the car because it's so much easier to maneuver and get around and repair, or the parts are more common. So, personal preference. I do like both. The car camping is a bit more convenient, but I get the trade-offs that I mentioned with the RV, so I prefer the RV, but a car camping is so easy. There's cars everywhere. You get one for about the same cost as 1 month of your rent. After that, you're not paying rent anymore, so you're saving money if you have any kind of remote job. If you have a job you have to go to, then that's probably when I would do the gym membership thing, so I could make sure that I always was clean. That's not true, I wouldn't, but I can see why someone would. So if you're just traveling, car camping is the way to do it. It's so easy. It's just comfortable, convenient. You can stay clean. You can still use the bathroom everywhere. There are public utilities. There are supermarkets everywhere. There are buffets everywhere. Just all your needs are taken care of. And you have tons of extra money if you have any kind of work at all, because you're only spending a few $100s a month on expenses. So whatever you're bringing in the States, you have the money to buy the USB hot water kettle heater that I said for your hot showers, or you have the money to fix the car if it does break down, and that's $100 for a new fuel pump. That sucks, but now you have a new fuel pump, and the car's going to run better for years. That's in stark contrast to paying $1,600 for rent and nothing significantly upgrades or improves. Which brings me to the other reasons. Maybe you don't want to travel. Maybe you're about to be kicked out by your parents or your roommates, or maybe you just lost your job, or all this kind of stuff. Car camping does not have to be a last resort. It can be an easy stopgap and way to get back on your feet. If you have a car that is running, then you can start car camping. That should be your contingency plan. Okay, if everything goes wrong, I know that I can live in there. Even if it's a sedan. I know people that lived on their back seats in sedans. That is not what I want. Get a hatchback or an SUV. Even if you get a tiny hatchback like the Subaru Outback, that thing, I know tons of people who lived in their cars in their Outbacks. So you can do it on any kind of hatchback or SUV very comfortably, and you will find your own system that you like, and you'll just be saving money until you're like, okay, this is what I have to do. I'm going to, get into environmental volunteer work, or I'm going to get back into construction. I don't know. Whatever you like to do, you can get back on your feet by saving some money in your car for a month or two. A month or two, might seem like a long time to live in your car, but you can get used to it very quickly, and you can live fairly comfortably very quickly. And there are social services where you can go. You can get temp work. You can get a job if you need it, and live out of your car while you do it until you have enough money to get back in an apartment if you want to, or enough money to get a passport and leave the country where you can live in apartments for the same amount of money that it's costing you to live in your car in the United States. I recommend that option, but if you really like the States, yeah, you can just live in your car and get a remote job. There are almost 3,000 listings right now on the first website I searched for remote work. So, and you can use your phone with a USB keyboard to do a lot of these jobs. A lot of them are just data entry. So, and look, that sucks, but I'm saying if you are in an emergency situation, especially if you already have a car, make your car comfortable, get a remote job, live like that for 2 or 3 months, save up a few $1,000s from whatever crappy remote work job you can get. Maybe you'll even find something you like. There are a lot of interesting job titles. This is a crisis work help center. People would just call you, ask for help. You help people and get paid for it. Maybe that becomes your calling. Maybe it doesn't, but either way, you'll be saving money for a couple months until you can get back on your feet and do what you actually want to do, or until you get a job at the local supermarket and that's what you want to do, just that feels more stable to you. Whatever you want. Car camping is, great recreationally, great if you just want to be free from the rat race, great that way too. And it's great if you need to get back on your feet or you have an emergency. You can just cut out rent costs immediately or reduce them by 90% or more. Your meals are at all the buffets, all the all-you-can-eat buffets around you. That is, you can eat more than enough calories for one day in 2 hours at any buffet. Restrooms are all around you. There is fresh, clean water all around you. And yeah, you can save money until you're ready to try again. I did car camping because I liked how convenient it was that I could just fall asleep and I was already inside my apartment. Crawl between the 2 front seats back onto the bed and just fall asleep instantly. When I don't have to drive home from the concert, I'm at my bed already. Throw up the privacy curtains, fall asleep. It's great. And it's also great if you need that emergency stopgap where you need to recoup money, or you need to whatever you need the emergency measure of a mobile apartment for. A car and car camping is a great way to do it, and you can make it as comfortable as you want to make it up to a point. But that point is pretty comfortable. You have electricity, there are restrooms all around you, you have food, you have water, there are supermarkets, everything's all around you still, and your bed is right behind your driver's seat. It's very nice to know that if you get tired, you pull over and go into a very comfortable bed right behind you, your nest right there. And you can clean everything as frequently as you want with the laundromats. It's a nice setup where you get to save money and live as comfortable as you can make it for as long as you want or as short as you want. If it's an emergency stopgap, though, look at the national parks around you and the sites that you haven't seen before and see how that fits into your gas budget. You only have $100 a month for gas. You can probably still fit in a couple cool things that you've never seen before while you're trying to recoup some money from, a hospital bill or just any emergency fee that you didn't know you would have to pay. My takeaway from car camping was that it's much more comfortable and convenient than people make it sound. And it's much more hygienic than people make it sound. It's a heck of a lot easier than people make it sound. I found it much easier to work and live in my car than I did in an apartment. It's more private, and I just recommend it, even if you don't need to. You should just try it for a couple months. Maybe go take a trip, because it's pretty fun. Anyway, I think I've rambled on enough. You can contact me at bitofarambler@gmail.com. And if you have any questions about this or points you want me to bring up, let me know. I'm sure I'm going to talk about car camping again at some point. Good talking to you again, and I will see you in the next one.